What can help you feel less anxious when you feel like your life is out of control? Right? These moments happen whereas we feel like things are coming at us from different directions, when more and more things pile on top of us that we're like, we have no control over, or we wish we did, and we realize we don't. It can induce that anxiety, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to respond when I can't really control anything, or I really want to control something? So for today, we have a passage out of Proverbs that gives us a little bit of wisdom and insight into how can we calm ourselves, be a little bit less anxious when we feel like things are out of control. So Proverbs 19:2 says, ignorant desire isn't good. Rushing feet make mistakes. All right, two parts to this. The first part, their ignorant desire isn't good. Of being able to take a step back and go, okay, what are my desires and expectations that are actually making me more anxious, right? What are those desires and expectations that really we don't have control over being able to see through, to bring to fruition? What are those desires that really it's not healthy for us? It's something that we want, but it's really not something that we need. What are those expectations that we have, whether it's on ourselves or on others, that are unhelpful? So being able to take that step back and go, wait a minute, is this an appropriate desire? Is this an appropriate expectation to have on self, on others, on situations? And how much control do we actually have, right? The only thing we can control is ourselves, our responses, and yet sometimes we want to control everything around us. And to really understand, is that desire or expectation something that we truly have control over, or is it just something we want to have control over? And then the second part of this is rushing feet make mistakes. Rushing feet make mistakes. When we feel rushed or anxious, when we feel like we have to respond to something right now, or it's like the end of the world, right? If we get too caught up in trying to respond quickly, trying to have it all together, trying to have everything figured out, trying, right? Sometimes when we rush, we do not have the clarity or the focus we need to respond appropriately. And so we make mistakes. And this is the opportunity, right, to take another step back and go, okay, let's take a breath. And how do I make a decision that is deliberate, that is thoughtful, that actually isn't an immediate, like in the short term, but instead realizes, okay, what's the impact on others? What's the impact in the long term to myself and to others? Of going, wait a minute, does everything need an immediate response, or can I take a minute? So to realize here, Proverbs is trying to get us to be thoughtful about our desires and our expectations, that they are an appropriate and healthy level, and trying to help us when we feel anxious, when we feel like everything is coming at us and everything's out of control, of going, all right, how do I respond in such a way that is deliberate and thoughtful, that thinks beyond the moment, thinks beyond maybe even the pain of the moment, thinks beyond the anger or the feeling of the moment, and goes, wait a minute, I need a little bit of time before I respond. And so Proverbs is just trying to give us a little bit of guidance that will hopefully bring down that anxiety, that anxiousness, and provide us a way of calm when we feel like everything is out of control. Pray with me. God of peace, at times we feel like the world is closing in on us. We are anxious about what might happen or about things we cannot control. Help us to moderate our desires and expectations so that we are able to live more peacefully. Help us to be deliberate and thoughtful in our decision making. May we let go of the things we cannot control and be thoughtful in what we can control. Calm us and soothe us with your love. Amen.